Hello, 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 and what is going on, everybody? It is Master of the TDS, and I am joined by my lovely wife,
WritingRaven.
And we're back for another episode of Psycho-Synopsis.
Indeed.
The segment where we summarize all the Psycho for you. Just a scattering of topics throughout the week, all summarized into one neat little package for you to enjoy and consume at your leisure.
You are welcome.
So, this is the first time that we've been making a video since we are now monetized and now have members.
Indeed. So do consider joining that membership at the dusk, midnight, or dawn level.
Yeah, no pressure, but if you'd like to, we appreciate that. We were not able to get a video out last week because my voice was completely gone.
Yeah, it was.
It seems to be a lot better now, so at least that's a good thing.
Yes. Now stay that way.
Okay. Don't have to shout.
Meow.
Anyways, we have a lot of topics to cover today, so without further ado,
let us bring in our first client, the Rings of Power on Amazon.
Orc Lives Matter. Prime Video's The Lord of the Rings of Power will not only be showing female orcs, but will also be featuring orcs having, quote, their own culture, end quote.
That sounds like a dumb idea.
They're going to be sophisticated orcs now. They're going to have top hats, little monocles, and canes, and they're going to be, "Cherry home, little Harfoots. We drink our tea with Pinky aloft. Jolly good."
That sounds so stupid!
First off, it's not even that clear that orcs have females.
It's never specified by Tolkien. He hinted at it, but never confirmed it. Take that as you will.
With that said, maybe they could use that as an opportunity to make female orcs.
But they're gonna do it wrong. They're gonna make it that it's a matriarchal society or something.
But the stupidest thing is that these are orcs.
Not humans.
They're made to be evil. And you keep doing this thing where they try to humanize orcs or other creatures, like, for example, in Star Wars, they did the Tusken Raiders. It's okay for things to be evil.
Yes, it's okay for a culture or a race to be savage, because that's just how they are. We have a food chain for a reason, you idiots.
That, and also, it's not always that, well, if this orcs are black people, or sand people are black people. No.
That's not how it works. They could just be people.
If you are looking at these things and that is what you see,
you're the one with the problem.
Exactly. So making them intelligent, that's not a problem.
No, that I can understand.
Making them have a culture, whatever, they're living embodiments of evil.
Embodiments of evil don't necessarily have a culture unless you count demon culture, which is not shown in Lord of the Rings.
Look at that face. Do you look at that face and think, oh, he's a nice guy with a family and kids?
No. I think, he's going to eat me! Sorry about the ears.
Yeah, it's not the face of someone you want to meet in a dark alley, let's be honest.
No. Or in a dark forest, technically, because it's an orc.
Yeah. Well, then again, it's Rings of Power, so who knows?
True.
I just think this whole thing is stupid, and in the movies, they're portrayed as evil, and here you're going to portray them as, like, these civilized people who will then be brutally murdered and murder other people.
Yeah. That is incredibly stupid.
Good job, Amazon!
And good luck.
Yep, you're gonna need it.
Let's move on. Next up, we have the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh!, Kazuki Takahashi.
Thank you for everything.
Indeed.
Duel Monsters fans around the world are mourning for the loss of the man who started it all, as Yu-Gi-Oh! Creator Kazuki Takahashi has tragically passed away at the age of 60.
Rest in peace, sir. You will be missed.
Yes. So he was found dead off the coast, floating off the coast. They say it was a snorkel accident. Now, the reason we're covering this is because many of you may already know this, and some of you may not. There is a video on the channel that goes more into depth about this, which I will have the card be linked to, so you can check that out. But my name actually stands for Master of the Total Defense Shogun, which is a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
A monster that can attack from the defense position.
Yes, and it was what inspired me to create my channel, which is now the channel that you are currently watching. It didn't used to be this way. it used to be just Yu-Gi-Oh content, and I was the master of the Total Defense Shogun, and again, there was a lot of reasons why that ended and whatever, and again, I would urge you to check out that video if you want to know more, because we're not here to rehash the past.
But basically, Master starting off as a Yu-Gi-Oh YouTuber is what taught him how to do YouTube. So in other words, we owe Takahashi our entire channel.
Yes, if I hadn't started the channel the way it was, even, I would have never done YouTube. And if I had never done YouTube, I would have never introduced my wife to it, and who knows where we'd be. So if you think about it, not only is Yu-Gi-Oh a part of me and will always be a part of me, but without Yu-Gi-Oh, our channel would not exist.
Literally would not exist. It's literally part of the history of the channel. It's the founding of the channel.
Yeah, and it's really sad that he's passed away this way. I still have my opinions on the game, and I'm not going to be playing the game again anytime soon, and that's not going to change even with this. But we do owe him a lot, and me personally, I owe him a lot because he helped me get through parts of my life and gave me a voice for once, allowed me to build a community, which again, that has changed since then, but it was the initial start, and without the spark, there's no fire, so to speak.
Indeed. I remember the news hit you pretty hard.
It did, but, Godspeed.
May you find solace in the afterlife alongside Atem.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Next up, we have Ezra Miller. Again!
You can't catch me. I'm in another universe.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
In news that could qualify for an entry in the Daily Stupid, it's being reported Warner Bros. Discovery is confident the disturbed Ezra Miller will seek professional help before it's too late. That is to say, before next June, when The Flash is set to come out.
I think it's already too late.
Look, we've covered Ezra extensively.
Repeatedly.
More than I ever wanted to.
Yeah, pretty much.
Trust me, finding images with him in any way, shape, or form looking normal for thumbnails is nearly impossible.
So then why bother putting him in the waiting room? You only make yourself suffer more.
Yeah. So there's been more allegations and stuff that came out about him. And they're not good, obviously.
Yeah, not at all.
And he's still on the run, nobody knows where he is and whatever. And Warner Brothers, instead of just dropping this on HBO Max,
which is definitely the best course of action,
they've decided that they want to stick to their guns and they're going to release it in theaters.
Bad idea.
You're not going to make money that way.
Not at all.
I don't get what is with Warner Brothers these days. They have not just Ezra, but there is
AH.
Yeah, which we won't say her actual name. You know who we're referring to.
Because for some reason YouTube doesn't like her name.
We're not getting into that.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother video.
Oh yeah.
I do hope Ezra finds the help that he needs. And yes, we're not using the correct pronouns because I'm sorry, he is not actually they, them. You can tell based on his behavior and the way that he misgenders people all the time. And I think he's just doing it
for a shield.
That and to get clout. Regardless, I do hope whatever he identifies as, he still gets help.
In a padded cell, a straitjacket, and perhaps a muzzle.
Maybe, but regardless, he needs to get off the streets before he does something that is irreversible, because he is going to end up hurting somebody if he has not done so already. Or hurting himself.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to get the help that he needs. They're saying he's going to. He's not.
No, clearly not.
If he needed help, they would have gotten it for him in the beginning. But if they're not going to get him help, I do hope at least he gets off the streets so that hopefully we can minimize the casualties from this thing, because he is a train wreck.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. So, good luck with this, Warner Brothers. I don't think this is going to work well for you. I probably think that the only thing that's going to be faster than The Flash in this case is how fast the numbers of your box office drops.
Yeah, I can see that. Let's move on. Next up, we have Taika Waititi.
You mean Natalie was in Star Wars before?
Yes, she was.
Thor: Love and Thunder director and the upcoming director and writer for an untitled Star Wars film, Taika Waititi recently revealed he forgot about the Star Wars prequel films starring Natalie Portman.
He probably never watched them.
I don't know. I don't get this idea of why they keep giving Taika Waititi movies. It seems nowadays in Hollywood, people just fail upward. And let's be fair, I did not like Thor Ragnarok.
Neither did I. The tone was not right for the story.
The story was good. The tone was not.
No, it should have been a serious tone for that movie.
Yeah, I agree. And Star Wars needs to be a serious tone too. Now again, Star Wars is beyond saving at this point in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
And whether he'll actually even get a Star Wars film remains to be seen.
Oh, yes.
But the fact that he forgot and he was like, "Oh, Natalie, would you like to be in my Star Wars film that I may or may not get?"
And then she had to explain that she's already been in Star Wars. She was a lead role in Star Wars.
But I Taika Waititi and I forgot. Did you also forget how to be a director?
Apparently, and a writer.
Well, let's be fair. I don't even know if he ever was one. They keep giving him movie roles. I think we're going to see him a lot more. I've not heard that good things about Thor, Love and Thunder, which we'll go into later. The fact that he forgot such important information and he's being put in charge of Star Wars, potentially.
Not a good sign.
I just don't understand why anybody would hire somebody who doesn't have a good track record and who doesn't understand the fundamental property they're working with.
That happens a lot in Hollywood these days.
Yes, it's as Gary from Neurotic has said multiple times.
They're not hired, they are cast.
Yeah. Directors and writers are cast nowadays. It's for virtue points. Now, again, I'm not saying you can't like Thor Ragnarok or you can't like what he comes out with or whatever. That's not what I'm saying at all. What we're saying is that we don't think the tone for Ragnarok was correct, and it seems like people are mentioning that it also wasn't correct for Love and Thunder. We'll have to wait and see. I don't think he's going to end up getting a Star Wars movie. They said it's subject to change. Hopefully he doesn't. But to be fair, at this point, Star Wars is dead. And yeah, give it to people like this who obviously don't know what Star Wars is about and will completely miss the entire point.
Yeah, what he said.
Gonna get Rian Johnson a trilogy also still? Oh wait, that's been unconfirmed / confirmed / not confirmed, whatever.
Yeah, and those Game of Thrones guys.
Whatever.
Who cares? Moving on. And now we go to Thor Love to Blunder.
Thor, feed me! The critics' scores for Marvel Studios and Taika Waititi's Thor Love and Thunder are rolling in. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film currently has a middling 71% on the tomato meter, with the average rating being a 6.8 out of 10. There are 110 fresh reviews and 44 rotten ones.
Now, that line from the article is from Thursday when the movie came out. The tomato meter you see on the screen is from the following Friday.
Yeah, so it's at a 68% now with critics and an 81% with the audience. What we've heard is basically there's a story there that could have been fleshed out more. But a lot of the movie was spent on baseless humor that didn't need to be there.
Seriously, didn't need to be there.
And they had this amazing cast that they didn't use.
They underused this cast.
Like Russell Crowe.
And Christian Bale. How do you undercast Christian Bale?
Easily. It's Disney Marvel.
Oh yeah, good point. Not to mention the fact that they completely ruined Gore's story, which is the one Marvel Thor story I actually like.
Now, we're not necessarily going to get into spoilers here, but rest assured that there was some leaks that came out, and they were pretty much spot on.
Yep.
So if you've seen those leaks, you're not missing anything.
Really, you're not.
My only question is, did Thor find himself this time?
Probably not, considering there's probably going to be a Thor 5. For some reason.
I have no idea. Look, I was never a big fan of Thor as a character, to be fair. I liked the first Thor movie. The second one was pretty bad. The third one had a decent story, but was too humor-filled, and it sounds like this one tipped over even more.
Either way, you hate Marvel Comics Thor.
Yeah, but look, if you like this movie and it turns out to be something that you like, you're more than welcome to like it. We have no problem with that.
Of course.
However, I want to be upfront about this, is that we have no plans to see it.
None at all.
Not even on the high seas.
Oh, absolutely not.
We're not going to pay Disney any money for this kind of stuff. We're not interested. For us, we saw Spider-Man No Way Home. That was pretty much where we ended off. If there's something interesting in the future that maybe we want to go look at, maybe we'll think about it. But for now, We don't have Disney Plus. We're not going to watch this. And quite frankly, we don't care.
Yeah, we're saving our movie tickets for the Munsters.
Yeah. Then again, I think you guys are going to make us watch the stupid Netflix series of Wednesday Addams, so that'll be fun.
I don't wanna. Don't make me!
Yeah, it apparently isn't doing so well, and it seems like the critics are being the harshest on it, and a lot of them have said some very interesting things, such as that it's not a movie, it's a product.
Or content?
Yeah. So, look, if you want to go see it, go ahead. If not, don't. We're going to report on what we hear.
Mm-hmm.
Not this week, probably, though. And we're not going to go see it. We're making that clear up front.
Yeah. Let's move on. Next up, we have Captain America.
Number 4. Anthony Mackie stars in the feature, which hails from Falcon and the Winter Soldier head writer Malcolm Spellman. Now, here's where this gets interesting. So they announced that Captain America 4 is coming out, and Sam Wilson is going to be Captain America.
Should be Bucky.
Whatever. Apparently, they made it unclear in the article, so Chris Evans, formerly Captain America, decided to comment, Sam Wilson is Captain America.
And tell them what you said.
Basically, what I told him was that he's not even Captain America anymore and he should shut up.
People didn't like that.
People didn't like the fact that I only recognize one Captain America. I don't care if Sam or Bucky or anybody else gets the shield.
Either way, it still should have been Bucky.
Regardless, the only Captain America is Steve Rogers.
That's true.
The issue is, that's what I believe, and people on Twitter do not like that.
Clearly.
So, we had one person respond with, here's a captain you probably look up to.
And it is a person who mass murdered and killed our ancestors.
Yeah, in World War II, so it gives you an idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone else said, cool story, trauma merchant. Not a very effective killing of a lot of people to have left so many survivors. Sounds like an underachiever, to be honest.
And if that were referring to a black person, that would have caused an outrage.
And a bunch of these people came after me and started getting mad. And here's the thing. As I said, I have no problem with Sam having the shield. I have no problem with Bucky having the shield. Hell, I have no problem with anybody having the shield. But don't expect me to call them Captain America.
Because they're not.
I don't care what the comics say. I don't care what MCU says. I don't care what Marvel says. I don't care what Disney says. And I certainly don't care what Chris Evans says.
Clearly.
So, cry more. There's only one Captain America. It's Steve Rogers. Don't like it. Too bad. Don't care what they call the movie. Don't care what they do here. You can cry and scream and yell all you want, which you seem to be still doing even now. I have my phone actually on Do Not Disturb for this recording, and I guarantee I'm going to turn it on to a bunch of more angry people.
Just hand them a Diet Coke.
Yeah, I ended up making a new meme, Diet Coke. But regardless, this is ridiculous. Stop trying to shove it down our throats. Every time you make someone else have the shield and you call them Captain America in the comics, it fails.
Every time.
And you have to walk it back. So maybe take note and understand that maybe if you had Falcon be called Captain Falcon and he had the shield, I'd have no problem with that.
Bucky taking up the mantle was a good story, but he always kept thinking about he was never going to live up to Steve.
Exactly. It's not a mantle. You can scream and cry and yell about it, which, again, don't really understand why you have to do that, because, again, here's a fun fact. If you don't agree with my opinion online, nothing happens.
The world moves on.
Life continues.
Maybe you should get one.
But Captain America is Steve Rogers. If you don't agree with me or you don't like that, too bad. That's my opinion. That is how I choose to accept it. And if you don't, you can scream and yell about me about how it's canon and whatever. I don't care. I reject canon. There you go. Enjoy.
Well done, my dear. Shall we move on? And for our final client of the day, we have Lightyear.
Lightyear director Angus MacLane decided to go after critics of his film after it got embarrassed at the box office by Minions: The Rise of Gru. As you can see here, someone said, Nathan and I loved Lightyear. I don't know why it has such low reviews on IMDb. And Angus McLean, instead of keeping his mouth shut, decided to quote tweet them and say, short answer, much like the second chapter of The Hobbit, it mainly has to do with trolls.
He really should have just kept quiet.
Just because you make a bad movie, which is, on all accounts, what people have told us this movie was.
It's a bad movie.
You spent so much time marketing about it, and all the news was about the same-sex kiss and all that kind of stuff, and you never explained the actual movie.
Never explained the story. From what we've heard, even people who saw the movie said, I still couldn't figure out the story.
And you didn't have Tim Allen voice Buzz Lightyear.
Which was a mistake.
You would have made more money that way.
Absolutely.
And it just wasn't a good film.
Just accept that and move on.
Do you remember when films could be bad and it wasn't always trolls or people who don't like it? Guess what? Your film was not good.
It was bad. Accept it and move on.
They can't, because Minions didn't market itself as, oh, well, same-sex kiss, oh, well, whatever. Imagine if they had marketed it as Minions movie and then they had someone else play the Minions voice. You think people would have gone and seen it?
Don't know.
Probably not. The idea here is it was a franchise that was established and they kept everything that way, and it was a good, fun, decent family movie. Lightyear had nothing to do with Toy Story, was not voiced by Tim Allen, and guess what? It wasn't trolls, it was that your movie was crap.
Yeah, pretty much.
I know that's difficult for you to accept, and chances are you'll probably still get offered more roles and stuff, because in Hollywood you tend to fail upwards, just like the people who write Batwoman.
For some reason.
But your movie failed because it's a bad movie. No one else is to blame but you.
Yes.
Maybe take a step back, put your ego aside, get off your high horse, and recognize that, and perhaps maybe you can learn from it for the next movie so you can make one that isn't a giant stinking turd.
What he said.
To stupidity and beyond!
Woohoo!
No one will remember this movie.
No one. That's a shame, because it had potential.
It did. Make a live-action Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. We'll go see that.
That is what everyone wanted to see, except they would make the princess black.
Whatever. Regardless, your movie failed because it sucked. Minions didn't. Cry more.
The end. Moving on. And with that being our final client, it is time to move on to the diagnosis of the week.
And we have an interesting diagnosis for you this week.
Do tell.
So the diagnosis for this week is delusional optimism.
Please explain.
So delusional optimism is the total inability or unwillingness to look at the reality of the situation because the vision of what you want is so much greater and clearer in your mind. Basically, they have an image of what they want and what they believe things need to be, and anything else that challenges that or potentially would make them see the actual reality of the situation is ignored. Sometimes I like to call this kind of thing selective ignorance. They are choosing to focus on what they want to see without looking at the reality. This can be held true for Lightyear, Star Wars, Thor, Captain America, all the stuff that we've experienced. They literally can't recognize the reality that people don't like this. People don't want this stuff. People want good, entertaining films that are true to the source material and respect what came before. These people can't do that. They've made it into a platform, and they see it that way so much so that they will believe, even when faced with the reality that that is not the case, they will believe that they are in the right and they can do no wrong. And that's why I believe this is a great diagnosis for this week.
I completely agree. It definitely fits.
And now we move on to the remedy of the week.
And this week, we are sending you to Ryan Roger Athay. A while ago, he made a video about us saying how we were rising stars and had a lot of potential and would accomplish great things. And then we ended up getting monetized and he showed up in our chat. So, we're sending it to him.
Yeah, He's been a very good supporter of us and many channels. He has the series Rising Stars, where he does basically people he thinks are rising stars. He's always supportive, always there to help out other people. And so we wanted to return the favor. He makes some great content, gives some great opinions. So head on over there and let him know that
Gothic Therapy referred you.
Indeed. That is all we have for this week. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and also make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe with notifications on so you do not miss your weekly therapy session.
Or you will be charged. And remember, when you subscribe, your first session is free, so smash all those buttons like they're bad kitties.
And feel free to join the channel if you'd like. That is an option now.
Yes, please do. You can also find links to all of our socials in the description below, as well as links to our merch store and our Discord server known as The Clinic. Be sure to check them out. Keep in mind though, we are going to be adjusting the merch, so keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, we are going to actually be expanding our merch and doing some interesting things with it, so keep an eye out for that. There should be an announcement about that either today or the next couple days.
Indeed.
But that's all we have for this week, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Gothic Therapy, out.